Alrighty. Let's see, we only got one attendee so far. Okay. I hope you guys are seeing the same screen I'm seeing. 1 second, let me double check. If you are a participant, can you let me know in the chat box? Are you seeing the slides with the notes, or are you seeing just the presentation? Let me see. I think I can. This should be it here. We're going to correct my mistake. Okay, that should do it. Alrighty, welcome everybody. Let's see who we have on. Benedict, Parviz, Hala Shoma Chatore. I'm also Iranian, sir. Welcome to this webinar tonight. So far we have 2 attendees. We start at 8 sharp. I usually like to give everyone else a chance to get on. We have quite a few registrants, so I'm expecting this number to go up, and we'll give it a few minutes. Ilya, welcome to the webinar. So as you all know, today we're going to talk about the new upcoming, or well, actually newly released DOD SBIR topics for Q2 and some other exciting opportunities. And we're going to expand on some COVID-centric opportunities that are out there. Maybe not as exciting in terms of what's going on, but the money's there for tech companies just like yours. Let's see who else we got. Jane Lean, welcome. Jason, Sania, welcome to the webinar. Alrighty. So one more time, we're gonna go over DOD SBIR Q2, Q3 topics and some other upcoming opportunities. I'm gonna give it 1 more minute just in case we have another attendee come in, and if not, I want everyone to know that you're gonna get a recording of this webinar and the slides in an email. Feel free to ask me any questions in the question and answer section. I'll do my best to answer them at the end of this webinar. And if there's anything I can't answer, we'll go ahead and get in touch via email. All right. So great. We have 11 participants. Let's get this going. Okay. So part 1 of this webinar, it's going to really just be a snippet into federal grants and federal R&D funding. Part 2 is kind of the meat of the webinar. We're going to talk about the newly released DOD SBIR program opportunities. These were released May 6th, just last week. The open application period is coming up in June, beginning of June, and the deadline, which is the most important thing to focus on here, is July 3rd. Part 3, upcoming, can't miss opportunities. So we're really going to cover everything that's kind of relevant to the next quarter, this coming quarter, and touching on Q3 with some other opportunities. All right. And again, ask questions as I go because we're covering a lot of information. Okay, so this slide is just showing you how much money was set aside in fiscal year 2020 for federal R&D funding. So it's about $161.5 billion. Now I want you to keep in mind, just recently there was a $2 trillion stimulus, I'm sure you're all aware of. That increased this by an order of magnitude that I couldn't give you an exact number on, but by quite a bit. I mean, just in the DOD alone, we know there was about $500 million infused, and that was just in the DOD SBIR ecosystem. One thing I want to really focus on this slide is the red part. So this red portion is kind of what applies to everybody. Let me get my mouse over on the other screen. Yeah, so this red portion right here, this is kind of what applies to you, and this is the private sector. So it's usually between $30 and $60 billion every year. That's set aside for the private industry. So what is the difference between dilutive and non-dilutive funding? So, I mean, it's pretty obvious just from the title. Non-dilutive funding, you're not giving up any equity. You're not bringing on any outside decision makers or board members. And ultimately, you're maintaining your IP rights, which I think is one of the most important factors here. Obviously, with dilutive funding, money that you're getting from venture capitalists or private investors, you're giving up equity, you know, you might have to bring on some board members, and your IP rights may not be ultimately you know, protected. So let's keep on going. What does Eagle Point kind of deal with? So we deal with every technology you can think of outside of the life sciences. So I'm gonna list kind of the main topics, and you for yourself can kind of read down the list. So defense, cyber, what's huge for us right now, especially with this new release. You know, we're focusing on things and you know, technologies in the space sector, autonomous, nuclear energy, cybersecurity, 5G communications, you know, VR, AR, augmented reality, sensors are huge. And so these are just really a list. I mean, we couldn't possibly even fit the entirety of the technology, the gamut of technology that we deal with. So Internet of Things is huge with us right now also. And then middle, you're going to just see kind of the seals of the different federal agencies that are funding these technologies. And I want you to keep in mind there's over 25 federal agencies that are providing funds for the different technologies that we deal with. So these are just 6 out of over 60,000 companies that have been backed by grant. And these are just ones that you would probably have heard of. So Symantec, Qualcomm, huge companies, right? And then 3 of many technologies. So GPS, maybe you're not using as much lately because of the quarantine for many of us. But internet, Siri, I'm pretty sure you're using at least 2 out of these 3 technologies daily. They all got their start with federal funding. You know the famous story, Al Gore is quoted saying, I created the internet. So, I mean, obviously that's a complete joke and not true, but in a sense, it has some truth, given he might have signed a DARPA check to get that internet going. So there are really 2 types of federal investments. One, there's the government, which has its agencies that are seeking solutions to their agency challenges. And I'm going to get into that right now. And then I'll touch on kind of the more altruistic motivations for the government. So here you have kind of a flow chart that shows you beautifully how the government gets from solving its challenge to becoming an early adopter of your technology. So first, they're going to seek solutions to their challenges by posting, you know, open topic forums, focus areas, or very specific opportunities, be them SBIRs or broad agency announcements, which we are going to get into. They want to see what's out there. They want you to propose to them your technologies. Then they're going to go ahead and accept your application, which is them making an investment. They're going to see you perform how you perform on your R&D, fund you accordingly, depending on what kind of funding mechanism we are talking about. And ultimately, they're going to become an early adopter or customer of your technology. And it's important to keep in mind here, they don't want to be the only adopter of your technology. It's great if you have some traction, some in the commercial market. At the end of the day, they are an investor. So they would like to see you succeed in the commercial market. So the second option here is seed money for private industry. So this is really the NSF, or America's Seed Fund. So there's kind of 2 motivations behind this. You have the altruistic motivation. So obviously the United States wants to maintain its position as a high-tech powerhouse and its position in modernization. And job growth is always great. And then there is ultimately a capitalistic motivation. So people hear the word grant, they think free money. No, the government does see $2.30 on average on every dollar they invest in your business, but that is just by virtue of you building your business and paying your taxes. So if there's any way you want your government to see a return on your investment, it's probably by virtue of you building your business. So that's an interesting fun fact there for you. This is a recent study done by the Milken Institute. Very interesting study. So for every dollar of federal R&D funding invested in your tech company, you can realize about $8.38 over 8 years. So there's really 2 reasons for this. One, an investment by the U.S. government. That means you have deep, impactful, big tech. It's basically the hallmark of quality if the U.S. government was willing to invest in you. Two, you went from being pre-grant through prototype, and now you're commercially viable. And you'll notice VCs will be knocking on your door, as opposed to the other way around, where before you might have had this won this SBIR or broad agency announcement or this federal funding, you're out there hunting down the VCs. So this is a pie chart that breaks down the funding mechanisms. There are really two general funding mechanisms. There are SBIRs. Within the SBIRs, you have STTRs, which are basically SBIRs with academic partners, or they might be broad agency announcements with an academic partner. And you can see SBIRs really only make up 3.2% of the pie, which ends up being around $3.5 billion. Now, again, that number has increased by orders of magnitude because of this recent stimulus. And broad agencies make up a lion's share of the pie in terms of the dollar amount, as you can see, about 96%. So let's talk about SBIRs. We love SBIRs. They're startup facing, a little more startup facing. So you have to qualify, you have to have under 500 employees. The ownership structure has to be 51% or more U.S. citizen, green card holders, or residents. And let's just talk you through this phased funding approach. So again, it's $3.5 billion in phase one. That's your proof of concept stage. So you dictate your POC. Your POC, so once you get accepted, let's say for an SBIR, let's say within 60 days, you might get an answer within 30 to 60 days, you'll get awarded. That money's to get you through your proof of concept. Again, you never want to oversell your POC because you can't apply for phase two until you hit the POC. And so you want to also, uphold your commitment to the US government. So then you win phase two, get funded $1 million to get you through prototype. And then you have phase 2B, phase 3, which is commercialization assistance, which you'll see on some of the programs I'm going to touch on later, where the government will literally match you dollar to dollar. For example, if you raise up to $6 million, and some of these agencies, they'll match you another $6 million, which is completely unheard of and insane. And it's amazing that the US government is doing this. And here we're going to talk about broad agency announcements. So this is really the second funding mechanism. And we work with both. So this is a continuous funding mechanism, which just means it's a 2 to 5 year grant essentially. And what it really is it's a proposal of your R&D put into a 40 to 50 page application with deadlines and dollar amounts associated to those deadlines. So if you win this grant, and again, it's broad because it covers the whole gamut of kind of federal agencies out there. That's why they're called broad agency announcements. Huge, higher reward ceilings. It is a longer process. So, I mean, it is a 2 to 5 year grant. So it could be 5 years until you're fully funded, but in those 5 years, you might be funded, 20 times. You'll be funded $1 million once you hit whatever your milestones may be. Okay. So now that I think we have a good grasp on the two funding mechanisms that the government allocates this money by, let's talk about how you can apply this money. All right. So how can you apply this money? So if you're the CEO, CTO, COO, and you're involved in R&D, you can pay for your salary with this money. Obviously, your R&D staff, subcontractors, instruments, materials. A lot of you are early in the game. You might just be 3 or 4 individuals at home. You don't even have an office yet. Hopefully we might never get back in the office environment. Who knows? But you can pay for your rent with this money, your administrative costs, and outside advisors. And what's great, the government allows for 7% to be used as profit. So we say profit, but really what that just means is 7% of this money you can put in your back pocket and do with what, take a trip to Hawaii if you'd like. So you can do it as you please, use it for your marketing, whatever else you may need to grow your company. All right, so now I'm going to get into kind of what the main topic is here today. So we're talking about DOD SBIR. So this is number 20.2, the topics for quarter 2. And today's date obviously is May 12th, 2020. So upcoming opportunities, we're going to talk about the DOD. Then I'm going to get into AFWERX, Army, and Navy. So really, this is the overview for the new opportunities. So this quarter, we have 148 different topics. We have 12 offices participating. And I encourage everyone to go ahead and, get on grant.gov, get on SBIR.gov, see what's out there. Get on the DOD SBIR, Google DOD SBIR, see what's out there for you. and you can see what offices are taking place, what might be relevant for you. Phase 1 awards are ranging from $50 to $250,000. So I showed you the very standard kind of SBIR phase funding structure and dollar amounts, and those are kind of averages, but you have opportunities that can range from 50,000 to 250,000 on phase 1. And then opportunities that can range from anywhere from 100,000 to 5 million in phase 2. And so we're going to get also into the Air Force and kind of how they stepped out of the DOD for this quarter in terms of SBIR opportunities, but that money is being funneled into COVID-centric opportunities that I think a lot of your technologies might even have more relevance to than if it was just the Air Force. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. So these are the DOD SBIR technology focus areas, okay? So I'm going to just read the bold focus areas. And again, everyone's going to get a copy of these slides and a recording of the webinar. But again, I think I mentioned this in the beginning: 5G, AI, machine learning, autonomy, space. Okay, so if you fall into these 4 tech sectors, you're in the focus areas. Next slide. Cybersecurity, directive energy. So we'll just say energy to make it simple. Hypersonics, microelectronics, quantum science. Okay. And I'm not going to read, the smaller text here. You can go ahead and do that when you get the slides. Some more focus areas: network, command, control, and communication, nuclear, and general warfighting requirements. So that really covers pretty much everything. I'm almost 100% sure that out of the 16 attendees on this webinar, every single one of you has a technology that falls under one of those topic areas. Whether, AI, ML, facial recognition, sensors, anything, it could fall under. Really, the first 2 slides I showed you about the technologies we deal with, every single one of those technologies fall within these focus areas. And now I'm going to get a little more specific. Okay, so here are some very specific topics. This one's from the Navy: small space, weight, and power, multi-level security, cross-domain solution. So again, all these DoD SBIR topics I'm mentioning, they're due July 3rd. So keep that in the back of your mind. So they've been released. We know what's out there. We know that we open application is June 2nd, but the deadline is July 3rd. I want you to put stress on that for you. So to create some urgency, because these grants, we're really good at doing them quickly and efficiently, but we like to, take our time if we can and get the best kind of highest industry practice standards, if we can. So July 3rd is the deadline for these DoD SBIR topics. This one is a Navy topic. Next, another Navy topic: voice recognition to support assessment of cross-platform situational awareness and decision making. Wow, that's a mouthful. Okay, let's keep it going. Army, multi-solution precision location determination. So system to be operational in a GPS denied environment for static, dynamic, and autonomous systems under test. Again, these are all topics that you can look up their objectives online, and it'll give you kind of more in-depth idea as to what kind of technologies they're looking for. Here's another Army opportunity: polarimetric modeling and visualization. So I took the objective right out of kind of the mouth of the Army. Develop models and visualization tools for multimodal polarimetric imagery to enhance detection, recognition, and identification. So wow, there's a lot of technologies just in that one opportunity, right? We're talking LiDAR, drones, authentication, authorization, detection. So I mean, the opportunities are there. If you have the right tech, we can find you an opportunity and hopefully win you a lot of money. So now these are some more opportunities that you just cannot miss out on that are coming up. All right. So definitely want to cover the DAFT Act. So these are the COVID-19 centric opportunities. A lot of you might not even know it, but you probably have a tech that might apply to the current crisis and that you can get funded for. So let's check that out. AFWorks, probably one of our favorite kind of B2G programs. So this is an SBIR program with a B2G end game. The Army Applications Lab and the NSF SBIR. We're going to talk about some opportunities within those offices and agencies. Okay, so the Air Force Unite and Fight Against COVID-19. I want to stress here, we're talking about non-medical technologies. Okay, So we deal with non-medical technologies, and there are a lot of non-medical technology opportunities out there. So 4 lines of effort, 4 R's. I guess they wanted to have they wanted it to have a catch. So relief for external assistance requirements, resilience for defense industrial base efforts, recovery for consolidated funding requests that minimize program impacts, rapid for large, rapid small business contracts across all lines of efforts. And I'm going to get into some more of these opportunities. So the DAFT Act is also known as the CSO, and the RFIs are open right now. The request for information, you can put yourself in front of them right now if you would like. So combating the spread, it's actually right now is the time. I mean, they're really trying to get connected with you now, sooner rather than later. So combating the spread, this includes technologies that might have implications for predictive analytics, the next hotspot, threats to current activities, decision support. There's a lot of AI there, machine learning, welfare of citizens, effects of transportation, technologies that might include that might cover movements of people and goods, education and development, have implications for physical training, regular HR functions, job transitions. So readiness, technologies that might have implications for continuing operations through the outbreak, coordinating with allies and partners, continuing long-term projects, logistics. This is another one of the DAFT Act solicitations. And so they're looking for technologies that will have implications for security and protection, supply chain protection, and assessment. Number 5, again, we don't touch medical technologies. That would be if you're on this webinar and you have a very specific medical technology, if you have the cure for COVID, please do get in touch with us, and we'll go ahead and relay you to our parent company, the Freemind Group, who does deal with technologies outside with life science technologies, and I'll kind of explain more about that at the end. So that's really any solution. So if you have any kind of technology that you think might be able to assist in what's going on today, in today's environment and ecosystem with today's crisis, then they want to hear it. Okay, guys. Now let's get into AFWorks. So AFWorks is by far the fastest funding. Now, actually, that might have to be updated. The COVID opportunities might be even faster funded because of its urgency, but it is one of the fastest funding and least bureaucratic, or no bureaucracy, we could say here. It's open topic, which literally means they'll post their focus areas. I think last quarter they had like 23 focus areas, and very, very, very broad. And basically they want you to come and pitch your technology to them as long as it falls under one of those focus areas. And they are, again, very broad. And so the end game here is to get a B2G contract once you can source an MOU, which is something I'm going to expand on here. So again, it's open topic. There's 2 tracks to get funding, and you can get, so basically you apply, you can get an answer within 30 days, funded 30 days later. So that's money in the bank. So from the day you apply to the day you see potentially $50,000 or $1.5 million in your bank account, that's 60 days. Commercialization assistance is starting at $6 million this quarter for AFWorks. So the track 1 is we win you $50,000, right? So we win you one of the greatest grants out there, and you're able to take that $50,000, and you have 3 months to source an MOU, or memorandum of understanding, from what we call kind of gatekeepers or the matchmakers, the people that kind of want your technology, right? So you need to find an end user. So it might be someone in an Army base, and at the end of the day, you need to get an MOU from the guy that pays the bills. We do help in that process. I do want to stress that it is in our ultimate interest for you to win the phase 2 award, because we do work on a success fee. So that $1.5 million is what we have our eyes kind of lined on, and I hope you as well. And so the pre-release for this is August 20. It's going to be August 25th. Open September 23rd, and it's due October 22nd. And we've had great success with AFWorks. Here's just to show you. So I'm not showing you last quarter's only because we still have lots that are pending. I think they had an overflow of applications. So we don't have all the results in, but this is from 2 quarters ago. We had 10 full submissions, 2-1 the full amount of direct to phase 2, 6-1 phase 1 submissions. That's an 80% success rate. And I'm pretty sure we did quite amazingly last quarter. I just can't give you an exact number until we get all the results in. We had many more submissions last quarter. So here is another Army Applications Lab. This is another office that is offering opportunities. So these are just some of their ongoing areas of interest, which kind of align with a lot of the DOD's. Well, I mean, it's within the DOD ecosystem interests. And so more specifically, autonomous AI/ML, data visualization, synthetic environments, sensing, networks and communication, computation, space, Internet of Things. I left out at least 6 or 7 just so this slide wouldn't be too crowded. So feel free to go on the Army Applications Laboratory website and check it out and see what opportunities are available. And these are ongoing according to their website. So the National Science Foundation, broad categories across numerous tech sectors. Over here as a grant writing company, we basically consider this open topic just by virtue of how broad the categories are. So, I mean, as long as you have a technology, you're probably good to go with the NSF. Okay, so the way this works is we submit a pitch proposal, then we get invited for a full submission. Okay, so the upcoming deadline for this full submission is June 4th. So if you wanted to win on June 4th, phase 1 with the NSF, then you should probably get on the phone tonight with someone at Eagle Point. Otherwise, we're going to shoot for the September 3rd deadline, and we can submit a pitch proposal and hopefully get invited. Well, we definitely will get invited for a full submission and win that for you. So here are some of our winners. Company A is an AI-powered facial recognition company. They won $50,000 for phase 1. They were able to receive an MOU, and they are good to go for phase 2. And of course, we're going to write on their behalf for that phase as well. Company B, a drone-based data management software company. They won direct to phase 2 the full amount, $750,000. Company C, smart wearable fabrics and sensors, same amount as company B. And forget these dates over here at the bottom. This is an older slide and needs to be updated. So 5 keys to winning federal grants. So just as you wouldn't, have your sights on one lady to increase your chances of finding a date, you're going to kind of cast that net as wide as you can. I don't know if any guys are into online dating. I'm personally married, but you want to, just like you wouldn't approach a single VC to get funded, you wouldn't do the same kind of opportunity we take with grants, okay? And the opportunities out there. So we try to find multiple funding opportunities. We know the system. So, we'd like to think we have the best writers, analysts, and project managers in the business. And they tell a story, a clear and concise story in a compelling manner of your technology. And we engage in what we call a multi-submission strategy. So we try for at least 5 and up to 10 submissions in a 9-month engagement with you. Okay. So again, casting the net as wide as possible so that we can win as much as possible. Now, this isn't baked into a contract or anything, but just an interesting case. We had a client that we were able to submit for 12 submissions within a 9-month engagement. We have a client right now that, because their technology was so relevant, for COVID-centric opportunities, we're not even halfway through our engagement, and we have already 11 full submissions, full proposals submitted, which is wild. And so that's why now is really the time to jump on this, and we can get applying with a bang. So additional opportunities, broad agency announcements. I don't want you to take these lightly. These could have huge amounts of money. If you're a larger company, this could be very relevant to you. If you're a company that might not be 51% or more U.S. resident, green card holder, citizen based, then this might be more relevant to you. But that also doesn't exclude all of you smaller companies on here. BAAs are also a great source of funding, and we try to leave no stone unturned in terms of finding the right opportunities for you. So the upcoming New rounds of federal R&D for the DOD start April 22nd. You know what? That needs to be edited. That was actually for last quarter, and they were supposed to release April 22nd, and then get that completely. Alrighty. So what is it like to work with us? Okay. So there's a kickoff call within 24 to 72 hours of signing an agreement. So for the first submission, to be completely transparent, we require between 60 and 80 hours on your side for the first submission. Now, the director of our grant consulting department will tell me that's an inflated number, but we like to be on the safe side and let you know 60 to 80 hours. Some of you may come to us and already have won SBIRs or grants in the past, which could significantly reduce, for the core technology at hand, and that could significantly reduce the onboarding time of your technology. But we do need that 60 to 80 hours, we'll say, just because no one knows your tech better than yourselves. And for every submission thereafter, we do 90% of the legwork. So we could say up to 10 hours. There's some opportunities will be so obvious, we're just going to give you a call and say, hey, we found this opportunity. It aligns perfectly with your current use case. This is how we want to narrate it. And we want to really get it submitted within the next 2 or 3 days. And you're going to just give us the green light. So that's basically how we work over at Eagle Point. And I want to tell you about our parent company, the FreeMind Group. We are a division of the FreeMind Group. So we have the same leadership, really great structure at the top, 20 years of experience. We've been able to win over $1.5 billion in award. We have over 500 active clients. So I want to stress that active clients. These are clients that are signing with us yearly. They're continuing their contracts with us yearly because we've become an integral part of their revenue stream. And that is the end goal here for anyone we do business with. We want to become an integral part of your revenue stream and help you access this non-dilutive funding, because nothing's better than money that doesn't touch your bottom line. And everyone that's attending this webinar that owns a business or is starting a business knows that's true. So we specialize in R&D grants and contracts. We have, well, today, I think 120 or more in-house professionals, analysts, writers, and project managers. And I want to stress one last time, I know I've mentioned this probably 5 times throughout the webinar, we work with all tech industries outside of the life sciences. So if you're on here and you're big pharma, or if you have the cure for COVID or some amazing tests for COVID, great. Please get in touch with the FreeMind Consultancy. I'm sure they'd be glad to help you out. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go ahead and see if we have any questions. Or if you do have any questions, now's the time to ask them. I know we've been on for a while. Okay, so you know what? You can go ahead and, so someone asked, one second, let's go up here. So Jane, how to contact FreeMind? You're gonna get from my marketing coordinator, Jacob, you're gonna get an email of this presentation. If you want to reply to that email that you want to get in touch with the FreeMind Group, that's one way. Another way is to go ahead and just Google FreeMind Group online or FreeMind Consultancy, Grant Consultancy. Just Google them, go to their website, and that's how you can contact them. Someone's asking, what is MOU? Okay, so, oh wow, I'm sorry I didn't stress on this more before. So an MOU is a memorandum of understanding, okay? And it's basically a promise from the government, almost as good as the contract, that says that once your technology is commercially viable, they want to be an early adopter of your tech, which means they want to be your client. Okay. So phase 1, you win $50,000. You go out, you find a former general, a former commander that has, soldiers or airmen or, Marines that need your technology, or, Army engineers that need your tech, and they'll go ahead and give you an MOU, which says once your tech is through prototype and commercially viable, you can go ahead and do business with the government. You have a government contract. Okay, that's an MOU, Elia. I appreciate that you asked that because I did not expand on that enough. Jane Lean. Yeah, so please, anyone that has any questions about our business model and our fee structure, anything like that, feel free to get in touch with us via email. We're going to send you an email anyways. So we have a lot of questions about our business model. So go ahead and get in touch with us via email for us to expand on that. Let's see. Chris, get in touch with Jacob. He's going to send you an email tonight or tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and have a phone call. And Jane, if you have any questions, feel free. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. There's one more slide here I forgot to present, and most everyone's still here, which is great. So here's my email, ari@eaglepointfunding.com. Okay. So if you have a very specific question, go ahead and email me, and I'll be glad to answer it. And that's my Calendly link. So if you'd like to schedule a call, please go ahead and schedule it with that link. All right, guys, let's see. I think we have another question. Alrighty. It says we have 4 opened. Okay. Is there any questions that I missed? Does anyone feel like I missed a question? Because it's showing that I have another one. Alrighty. Yeah. Well, that's it for today. Go ahead and save my contact information. Either way, you're going to get, again, an email. Thank you guys for your time. Stay safe and healthy. I'm amazed that you stayed with me through this entire conversation, and I'm glad that we could kind of give you this information. And let's go ahead and work together and win a lot of money. You guys have a great night and take care. Be safe. Or have a great day night for me.